Hi guys, so welcome back to another tutorial in the bug tracker series. Today we're going to be making the dashboard components so we can actually display how many bugs we have currently active. So in our components, let's go and make a folder called dashboard, and we'll make two files and just call it card.jsx and card.css. So we'll bring in all the boilerplate like normal. Remember the CSS, otherwise it won't style. Export default. Return. Oh, my bad, that's going to be at equals. Return. So inside the return, we're going to have a div and give it a class name of dashboard card. Inside there, we'll have a h2 and we'll say total, and then the total is going to be, well, a prop that we pass in, but I'll do that in a sec. And then we're going to have a paragraph, and inside that paragraph we're going to have props.count. Make sure we pass in the props. Okay, so for the title we need to bring in the controller for priority that we set up earlier. So we'll get priority from, that's quite far back I think. Yeah, controllers, priority controller. And then we'll make a constant and we'll destructure the return of the priority controller. And we'll get priority, and we're going to pass in the props dot priority. So this is what we're going to be passing in a minute. And then what we're going to get out is we're going to get out level and color, and that's what's being returned from the controller in the object. So now we're getting that, we'll pass the level into the H2, but we want to style the color, and we're going to do it as an inline style. So we're going to go style. Now to do inline, you have to do two curly brackets, and then we'll set the color, and the color is going to be passing in color. So we'll save that, and we will make a dashboard page. So we'll make a folder dashboard, dashboard.jsx. Bring in the tedious boilerplate that we always have to do. Export default. Return. So if we import the card from dashboard cards, component, dashboard card, and let's just display one for now. Let's just go card, and we'll be passing in priority, and we'll just pass in 1, and then it also takes a count, and let's just pass in 10. So we'll save that, and we need to go into our app.js and we need to set up another route. Just copy and paste, and this route's going to be dashboard, so it'll just be /. So we need to import the dashboard page, and then we'll just replace that with dashboard. So save that, log in, go to dashboard. Now it's going to be below here again because we're not styling it at all, so that's my bad. So let's just put this inside of a div with a class name of page container. And put the card inside the div. Save that. It should be displayed. Let's have a look. It might be because it's white. Elements, root, page container, dashboard card. Oh, I've misspelled dashboard card anyway. But yeah, so that's where it is. Being displayed there. And just go back into the card. Spell that correctly. So if we go and style the card now, so let's open up the card CSS and we'll grab the dashboard card and we're going to round the borders to 5 pixels. Going to give it a background color. So we're going to set this to the variable card color. Going to give it a maximum width of 275 pixels. That's just my preferred width for this card. Have a height of 200. We could change this a bit later, but I'm just putting some basic ones in. Give it a margin so they don't sit close together when we have multiples. 10. Now inside we're going to make a flex box. Make sure we set the flex wrap to wrap. We're going to align everything in the center, so we'll do align content center. Then we are going to justify content, so we're going to align, the align sense content is for the vertical, justify content is for the horizontal, so we're going to align it both in the center. I'm going to text align everything to the center. I'm going to give it a box shadow, make it look a little bit 3D. I'm going to give it a box shadow of 2 pixels, 2 pixels, 2 pixels, 2 pixels, and this will be a color, so it will be a VAR. I'm going to do it as panel color. I'm going to do it as prime color. Let's save that. Let's go have a look what it looks like. Okay, so that's okay. But we need to have the H1 so it's 100% so it actually wraps, and we're going to change the font size a bit. So let's grab the dashboard card H2, sorry, and we'll set the width to 100% of its container. We'll set the margin top, just so it sits away, to 5 pixels. And then for the dashboard paragraph, I'm going to set the font size because it looked a little bit small, so we'll set it to 1.5 rem, and we'll give it a bit of a margin so it sits away at 50 pixels. Save that. So now that's looking a lot better. So if we add more cards, they should, because it's in a flexbox itself, it should start moving across anyway and start looking better. Let's do that. Let's just test it. So we'll add another card. Priority 2. Save that. Sign in, and there you go. You can see that the style is changing for the color. So we'll make 3 cards for each priority. So now we've got that. We need to find how many bugs we've got in each one. So we're going to bring in a couple of things because we're going to have to get our state. So we're going to have to bring in, and we'll bring in a couple of things from React Redux. React Redux. And we're going to bring in use dispatch and use selector. So we'll make a constant dispatch, and we'll initialize the dispatch. Oh. Use dispatch, sorry. and then we want to get another constant, and we're going to get all the bugs. So use selector, and we're going to get state, and we're going to return state. We only want the bugs, so we're going to get .bugs. So now that we've got the bugs, we need to be able to dispatch it on startup. So if we go to React, and we'll get use effect, and we will create a use effect, anonymous function, curly brackets, and we're going to dispatch. Now we need to dispatch the get bugs, so we're going to import from our slice, controllers, Redux, bug slice, and we're going to get bugs, and then we're going to dispatch the get bugs in the use effect. Now the problem is that this is going to update the state, and use effect runs every time the state is updated. So we need to pass in an array after the curly brackets, and we're going to get the bugs equals undefined. So it only runs if bugs constant is undefined, the state is undefined. So that will only run once whilst that's undefined. So we're getting the bugs, but we need to filter the bugs by priority so we can actually get our count. So I'm going to create 3 variables, which will be high count equals 0, 3 times, self-explanatory, mid count, mid count, and low count. So we need to be able to filter this. So I'm going to create a function so I don't have to do it all the time. Let's create a function, and we'll call it filter bugs, and we're going to have a priority level 3, so it knows what to filter it by, and it's going to return, and we're going to get the bugs constant we got. I'm going to filter it, and we're going to get the bugs out of it, and we're going to filter. So to filter you have to do a return, and you return what if that bug equals something else. So we're going to go bug, which is the bug we're getting from the object. We're going to get the priority, and we'll check if it equals the priority we're passing in, and we want to get the bug dot status and get the property that we're passing in, and we'll save that. So when bugs is undefined, we don't want this to run. So we'll do a quick check just to see if bugs equals undefined. If it doesn't equal undefined, then we're going to get the high count, and we're going to call filter bugs, and we're just going to pass in 1. We'll get the mid count, filter the bugs, pass in 2, and we're going to get the low priority, low count, sorry, filter the bugs, and pass in 3. So that will get all of our bugs, but we need to get the length. So now we're getting all the bugs. It's not actually going to be the count, it's going to be the whole list of how many bugs. So in the count down here, we'll get the high count, and you're going to just do dot length, because it's going to be an array of objects. And we'll do the same for high count, mid count, sorry, dot length, and locount.length. So we'll save that, we'll log in, and you'll notice you're getting no numbers, but when you actually click on view bugs, the URL changes, but the page doesn't change. Now that's because in the app.js where we put the root, we basically it will be going here and it'll be finding the / and it'll be going straight into dashboard, and it won't be checking any of this because it's found the /. And to get around that, you can either move that down the bottom so it will check all these first before it checks /, but that's not ideal because you could have lots of links. So instead we can pass in exact. So now we'll save that, and you'll see we can go and change pages. But if I refresh and we'll log in straight to the dashboard, we get no bugs. But you go to view bugs, it gets the state, and now we get the number. So you can see that it's not dispatching, and the reason it's not dispatching is because in dashboard I haven't called get bugs properly. I haven't called it as a function. So we'll save that, and there you go. Now it's working fine, and we've got the dashboard displaying, we've got the bugs working, everything's working lovely. What we want is to be able to click these, and it will just take us to our view bugs page rather than having to click the link as well. So inside of the React Router DOM, it's got a function called use history. So we're going to import use history from the React Router DOM. So rather than using link, because obviously we've styled it all, it's going to muck up the whole style for link, you can use a thing called use history. And on the click of the card, which what we passing back, we haven't done anything yet. So inside the card, we need to get the onClick function from the div. So we'll just get onClick, and we'll use the props.clicked. Save that. Go to our dashboard, and we'll do it after everything. So we'll get the clicked props, and this is going to have an anonymous function. Now inside this anonymous function, we need to pass in a constant. So we're going to create this constant, and we'll call it browser history, and this equals the use history that we brought in. And so this will have browser history, and we need to push inside browser history, and we'll push the URL that we want to take it to. Now view bug. Now actually I'm going to put this into a proper function because we're going to use it 3 times. So I export that, and we'll call this function redirect. Then we'll put it inside there. And then we'll pass in redirect. And we'll do the same for all 3. Save that. So now we should be able to click on there. Oh, is it view bug or view bugs? View bugs, sorry. View bugs. The dashboard, and now it takes us to view bugs, which works nice. We want to have a slight hover effect on the CSS, so let's go to our card.js. We'll get the dashboard, hover, pseudo class. We'll do transition all, 0.3 seconds. And then we're going to do transform. We'll transform the scale and that will be 1.05. So that's 1.05 of its original scale. So we'll save, and now we've got a hover effect, and we go into our board. It's working really nice. So on our next tutorial, we're going to be setting up our back end and start linking all of this together now. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, or at least learnt something new. If you have, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next ones.